Ghana prisons in Hoa at the moment. They have a striking resemblance. The only thing is that the two of them stammer.
They both stammer?
Yes, and Honorable Dr. Mani is he's got a bit flesh and a big, his head is a little bit bigger than my ankles. And I have been trying to arrange this. But aside that, very fine personality. You can hardly find any fault with him, because when he speaks, he knows what he's talking about. And he believes in the politics of scientific approach. Garbage in, garbage out. Not the try and error. No, he wants everything to be scientific. And that's what he was. And this is a big blow. And if it is to you and myself who know him, then imagine the president who he's close to, who appointed and trusted him to be the defense minister. Then is Honorable Murtala. I met him in 2009 through the current Western Regional Youth Organizer, Haj Mustafa. We traveled from, and then Darlington, who is also the Western Regional Treasurer. We went to the Congress at the time in Tamale. We drove all the way. So he was at a radio station. And after the program, Mustafa introduced me to him. Then he said, "Oh, I know of you. Well, you know the one who was shot by the police and all that." I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Oh." So we became good friends. And the thing about him is how he respects everybody. Another resemblance between he and I is that we both don't agree to be called senior, boss, honorable. No, I prefer to be addressed as comrade. If not, then just call me Elikem. And that is my name. The titles are not part of my name. And so we've always shared a lot of notes. Again, with him also, I think we had a conversation about a month or so ago. And I was supposed to come to his office with some people. And we're planning all of that before the incident happened. And it hurts more to even say it's not as though any life is important than the other. But in his case, for instance, we are aware he was not even supposed to have been traveling by the helicopter. He had made arrangements to go by a plane, African World or one of the, and for the regional minister to arrange some pickup for him at the airport, only for him to join this. And when I heard the circumstances that even when it happened that he had to go, he was in a rush. The wife had prepared food for him, and he said he was late, so he needed to go. And so the wife rushed to put the food in the car, and he sped off. It is admitted that this life itself, once you are born, it's a journey to death. Nobody's living here alive. Yeah. But the circumstances, to see deposed bodies burnt to ashes, to know the people behind and be questioning which of them is like this, which of them is like that, and the circumstances. And it's so sad. I came with, I can't believe I can't find what I'm looking for. I came with a card, the complimentary card of Dr. Sapon, your vice chairman. He and I became very close. And I call him Da, and he calls me my son. When during the limited registration exercise, we had to go to, he and I were assigned to Ahafo region. I think we spent a week over there. And so we bonded very well. Each time I come down to come and wake him up, so we set off, he is already up waiting for me. And it's always been the case. And he told me some very interesting stories about way back when either he said he was in the national security or something. I've forgotten the exact, but how disciplined he was and how he saved a lot of situations amongst other things. So there was even a time he had to even speak to my wife and like, he's a good man, he's here and all of that. And there was a time also during that the visit, there was a challenge with one of the regions. It was not part of the reasons we went there, but he insisted that we try to resolve the problem before we leave. And indeed, we sat with them till from, I think, 5 p.m. till 8:45 to 9. We resolved the matter before leaving. And I have always been like a son. Whenever at the party office, his office was just adjacent mine. So anytime he was going in, he would knock on mine to check if I was there, greet me, then go back in. When he's leaving too, he knocks on mine again, and then he greets me. And I recall again when we were going to the Ahafo, our vehicle broke down on the way. So we sat there for almost 4 hours trying to fix the vehicle with his son and the driver. So we bonded so well. He even took me to his house in Kumasi. I met the wife. He showed me a room that anytime I come, that's my place. I should. And all of these. And I know he even visited me at my office. In fact, I nearly forgot this. When I was appointed as deputy CEO, he visited me together with another vice chairman, Comrade Abanga.
Okay.
The two of them came to my office and we took pictures. And he even sent somebody to me, just endorsed the back of his card. And that has been it. And so
it must be difficult. So on that day, after you go to the grounds to meet this, I don't know what else happened. Like, did you have to go to the crash site?
Okay, so there's something about me. Anytime I know somebody who has passed or who passes, I always refuse to go look at the dead body. My reason being that the memory I want to have of you should be that of the last time we met, you were alive. Not a memory of when I went there, you were lying lifeless. So I have hardly seen the dead body of any friend, relation, or anybody. I always want to have the best memory of our last encounter. And so all I have of him is a memory of the last time he came to my office. And he's a very giant person. And the last one was rather at our NEC meeting, where we had an interesting conversation. He said, "Hey, my son, how are you? How is Forestry Commission? Just be careful there." He admonished me. And Honorable Murtala is saying, as for Dr. Omani Buama, you know, both Dr. Omani Buama and Honorable Murtala, because we all come from the same stock as student leaders, we've always compared notes here and there. There are times I even confront them, like I always do with Honorable Dr. Haruna Idrisu. On 2 occasions I met him. I always say, look, what can we do about the student leadership? The decadence that we may not want to see in politics will start from there. And when you hear stories like student leaders are compromising or conniving with either their authorities or other people to siphon student funds, then you know that these are the very people who will climb up. And so we have these discussions. And he told me, he recalls during Professor Mill's time how some stalwarts within the party made that a project to identify key student leaders of repute and to groom them. And I told him these are things I would love to do, because I feel youth power is the strongest, and if well managed, then we can build this country on certain principles. But if that is missing, it means every Tom, Dick, and Harry will find himself in there. And mind you, I hope this is not a digression though, but many are those who feel they should go into politics. It means that go make money quick. So if they can't go into politics, they want to play football, they can make money quick, or they want to own a business or find some. So if we do not hone the skills of these people, then we are unable to achieve that. So these were the last conversations I have had with Dr. Omani, and also with Honorable Murtala as well too.
This is point blank on Eyewitness News. There's a friend of mine at Takrady Poly. He's called Isaku Big Bene.
Yes.
He says that he was an eyewitness on the day you were shot in 2009 at Takrady Poly.
Yeah.
He said you were 2 years ahead of him. He just sent a message that I wanted to draw your attention. So tomorrow is going to be the funeral. It will be a very difficult one. We've seen the burial of Alhaji Muniru Limuna and Dr. Murtala.
Yeah.
It will be a very difficult one tomorrow, isn't it?
It will be a quick one. Even Alhaji Muniru, during the campaign, I met him in Ejura with Honorable Bauer, and I still have those pictures of us. And he just said, "Elikem, I've heard a lot about you. I've been seeing you, but we've never met." Then, and I looked at him and said, "Oh, okay, sir." And normally one thing with me is, even if you don't know somebody, it's good to be nice. So I didn't know him then. And then he introduced himself to me. I said, "Oh, okay, yes, sir." And he asked that we meet. We never met though, but a very nice and fantastic man. And point blank, he told me, if you need to anything, if you want to reach old man, let me know. That was his direct message to me. Tomorrow will be very difficult. I can only imagine the tears and pains that will be brought back again. You know, within this 1 week, it looks as though the pain was going down. But tomorrow will be a revisit of the memory again. I only pray to God to strengthen the President, His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, my sector minister, Honorable Amakofi Bua, the Deputy Minister for Defense, Roger Jemfi, the spouses as well, and the extended family, as well as the NDC fraternity, plus Ghanaians at large. This has no party coloration. These are people who have passed in the line of duty. And in the line of duty in trying to fight a menace, Galamsey. It also again brings to mind the fact that we must make sure if Major Mahama's demise did not warrant a fierce approach to these, then the passing of this gallant eight must necessitate a very strong action against these people. Because if it had not been for the menace, there would not have been the need to say we want to institute a comms dep and all of that to result in this. And so I am only imagining how tomorrow will be. I would also be there. I know many will be there. Some are even coming from afar already in the capital. From 8 o'clock, some major routes I'm told will also be closed to allow for easy passage and traffic. And it's going to be interfaith and interdenominational. And so I just can't imagine how it will be tomorrow.
The fight, though, would continue, wouldn't it? The fight to save our forests. I mean, before you joined us, we were discussing what happened in a town in the Ashanti region, Bontinso, I think that's the name, where community members rose up to fight the police who had gone there to fight illegal mining. It means that the battle is we've not won it at all.
No, we've not won the battle yet, but we understand we are at war. It requires a lot of energy and commitment. Fortunately, His Excellency the President has demonstrated his political will to fight this battle. Because he has 4 years and he's not seeking a second term. He wants to leave a legacy. Number two is after the political will is enforcement. And we're making sure that this time around, we must make sure we enforce the laws to do so. 3, which is very critical, was my prelude, that you in the media play a critical role. Then our traditional authorities. A lot of times we have done things as government, etc., and felt that we are on our own and could do them. But if we are able to get the traditional authorities to buy into why we must stop all this scourge, I think the battle will be half won. Further, Forestry Commission together, or our ministry, sector ministry, together with Ministry of Education and others, we again must look at also some long-term approaches, education, advocacy, awareness. We must have forest clubs. We used to have the wildlife clubs, Red Cross, etc. Let's begin to look at various forms of clubs that are related to our environment, so that the young ones also at the basic schools begin to learn the reasons for protecting the environment. This will imbibe into them some culture of responsibility over their place. And mind you, the purpose of education is to reform society. So if you look at even our education sector, it's cuts across, it's not only Ghana, Africa. Our education is more standardized rather than being customized. And that is a big problem, because the problems in Western region are different from the problems in Greater Accra. The problems in my region of Volta region is different from the problem in Upper East. But because the education even at the basic is so standardized, we are not able to. If only we can find some form of customization, it means that those in Western region, even if at the basic school they will have clubs, they don't necessarily maybe need just for example, maybe Red Cross. They rather need the forest clubs. If there's going to be a forest festival, it should be around there. And if we are having personalities like you, who would dedicate even 5 minutes in the morning to just be talking about the environment, there will be materials to churn out that will do that. I believe we can. But in the short term, we must approach this head on. Send the right signals to these gentlemen that what you are doing is killing our people.
Aside Galamsey, which is a national issue you're talking about, there's another campaign to save our Ramsey sites. That's under your commission, isn't it?
Yes.
We've seen what happened in Sakumo. Should we trust that after the demolition that we saw led by the regional minister, you are not going to sell those lands back to your own colleague politicians and take over the place?
Umaro, let me give an example. When I was appointed, I had a call from the Western region by somebody whose name I can't put out, that he's got a concession, a mining concession for me already. I just told him, okay, I've heard you, but I'm not sure I'm interested. And even about the Ramses sites, I recall the incident that happened. I mean, there was a period. If there was a period, let me put it this way, there was a period where there was so much impunity with how things were done, gross disregard for the laws. And so you had sometimes politicians involved in those land grabbings. And it is instructive to remind ourselves that His Excellency the President made it clear that any appointee of his that goes into acquiring any state property, etc., will be found wanting. That alone is enough signal. And so that is a caution to everybody. So if you think that it is a free fall or free for all and you also want to go there, then I'm sorry, you will be burning your fingers, because this is not going to be a 9-day wonder.
So we should believe that the work you are doing is
genuine. Please do, because you see, it is even taking 3 folds. The Forestry Commission itself, NADMO is doing that and concerned, and the regional minister is also concerned. And so it is unfortunate if you are a victim, but the truth is that we cannot sacrifice the majority of the people for your sake. And so we would have to do what is in the interest of the majority.
Okay. What about our forest? How is Achimota Forest? Are you still selling the land? Or
technically, when I go to Forestry Commission, I was asking that, is Achimota Forest really a forest or it's a bush?
What's the difference?
Well, you see very high-rise tough trees there. I mean, you just see very...
dwarf
trees. Yeah, but I think that I am aware that there will not be any such thing. Some of those, the impunity with which those things were done in the past cannot be countenanced under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's watch. It will not fly. It will not work. And we need to, for once, prioritize our country. I am not aspiring to be the next Kwame Nkrumah. I'm not sure His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is aspiring to be. But he's aspiring to be one of the perfect leaders that Ghanaians have brought back after a setback. And so his comeback must be on a purpose to drive home a certain agenda. And if you have seen it, you and I were having a conversation at the back. He's the only leader who will stick to his promise. At Kempinski, during the campaign, he addressed the country and said he is going to work with 60 ministers. Whether there is the need to increase that number or not, you will not expect President Mahama to increase that number. He will work with 60. For the longest time, he's worked with 56, until recently when he appointed 4 to add. As we speak, he's working again with what? 58.
Are game reserves under your commission?
They also are.
Okay, so the Shire Hills Game Reserve, which is my village, please try and do something about it. Yeah,
I am aware they are. We are building even an eco facility there to improve on it.
Yeah, try and do something about it. Is my heart is on
it. I'll take special notes from you on that and trust that we'll do something more about it.
Elikem Kotoko, Deputy National Organizer of NDC and Deputy, what's the title?
CEO.
Deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on Point Blank, and our condolences to you.
Umaru, thanks so much for having me. I look forward to another opportunity sometime later.
We'll do this again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's Elikem Kotoko. He was my guest on Point Blank. I am Umaru Sandamado. I did this with the Endo Safari production by Kobina Wilson, Beverly London, Chris Esima, and technical support from Daniel Squashi. Also with the production team, Manuel Ayama and Juliana Odami Asari. Emmanuel Usu of the new media team, or the head of the new media team, supported this particular broadcast tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Good night.